Welcome back to another special podcast with Ales. My name is Franklin Boatin, aka the King of Trainers. Today I have two very special guests, some guys I know within the sneaker scene. I'm going to start first off with the gadget connoisseur, the gadget guru, the sneaker guru, Mr. Gadgets John. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for joining me. I have to the bottom of my screen someone who's self-isolating very well, the Don Dada, the word on the feet, the first to news, the international lawyer, humanitarian, my very good friend, the one and only Chris, word on the feet.
Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on? Thanks for having me. I'm just trying to, maintain all of the precautions, you know what I mean? Especially, just trying to keep it in people's minds, you know what I mean? So just stay home, wear a mask if you need to, keep safe. So I'm just going to keep that imagery floating around in people's heads. But yeah, happy to be here. You're joining me, you know what I mean, from my sneaker dungeon in a secret location.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Don't reveal the location. No one needs to know where you are. So okay, guys.
You do not need to know.
Unless you're bringing me food or some extra masks, man. You don't need to know where we.
Okay, guys. So, thank you guys.
Where we at is where we're gonna be.
That's what's up. Thank you guys for joining me. Today's podcast is really about my theme is more of upliftment and how we're getting through this trying time. So I just want to kind of start with you, John. What are you doing during this time to kind of get yourself through this self-isolation period?
Well, I mean, in the kind of work that I do, I'm quite used to working, from home or working flexibly. So
Same.
In terms of work, things haven't changed that much. But in terms of time, because things have slowed down, there are fewer events. I've had a lot of time to do what I've been calling a digital cleanse.
Okay, good
stuff.
So
I spent the whole of I'd say the second weekend of isolation, I spent the whole time just going through my phones and deleting pictures that I didn't need to have. The other thing I did is I went through all of my inboxes on my email and I made sure I got no more unread messages.
Wow. Wow.
And that took about 15 hours.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So you've been using the time productively. And yourself, Chris?
I think...
Go on.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I was just going to say, one of the reasons why I decided to start doing that is because it's one of those little things that you never get into when a lot of things get put to the side and you end up with thousands of unread messages and loads of pictures and stuff that you don't need. And I feel like as a creative, it really helps me having a clean slate to get productive. So I thought this is a perfect time to do that.
Perfect. No, great stuff. And yourself, Chris?
I'm self-employed as well, with a bunch of different things that are going on. So, my work does take place in my office when I'm here in the UK. But, I'm also working a lot whilst I'm traveling. So I work a lot on the road anyway, just with my laptop and stuff like that. So it's been okay. And I would agree with John that, with lots of different things happening, a lot of projects kind of have been put on the back burner, or a lot of things, documents and stuff could do with tidying up and things being better organized. So it's a really it's been an opportunity kind of as a self-employed person to sort of take stock of where I am organizationally, tidy things up, think about planning things, organizing things a little bit better, and working out things for the next couple of months. So in a way, it's been great. It's been a great opportunity to catch up on all these things that have been on the back burner, and so I'm enjoying it in many ways. I'm enjoying just being able to focus on some things that I'm often having to do while sort of on the run in many ways.
Good stuff. So the big question...
Not on the run, but it goes.
We know what you mean. The big question is, what have you guys have you guys purchased any trainers over this period?
Well, as you know,
Yeah.
this year I decided I'm not buying any trainers at all. So
Okay.
I've been tested. I've been tested. The Court Purples, the Air Jordan 1 Court Purples were so hard for me to pass up because I wanted those from last year. So it's hard seeing those come and go. But no, I've so far held up. A little win that I caught may have helped.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Whoa.
We're gonna get to
that.
So
I have been able to acquire some new shoes this year, but I haven't purchased anything.
Okay, fair enough. And yourself, Chris, have you bought anything?
Yeah, I bought a couple pairs of breads, but sort of like the more the hardo bread type. You know what I mean?
I heard that.
Nice. Nah, I mean, I can't remember. I think the last things I got were on my travels, but it was way before this happened. Right about now, you know, I'm still someone who's drawn in by the releases and stuff, but I'm also conscious of you know, cash flow at this time, so just trying to hold it down. Plus also, like, you know what I mean, in this isolation time, you know what I mean, like, you know, taking those L's on the app in isolation, man, that just feels like a whole nother added level of
I deleted it.
Of upset. You know what I mean? People must be like, if you're living on your own, you don't have anyone to really, no one with you, man, to share that pain. So I was just like, boy, I'm not you know, I'm avoiding that, to be honest. But in general, I've been browsing around. I think for people, like, you know, obviously so many sites are relying on online business now. So like in terms of kind of sales stuff, like there's so much good stuff out there to pick up with kind of extra discounts and stuff. So, you know, if you do have cash and time on your hands, you know, there's lots of stuff to browse around and lots of bargains. And I guess because of the situation, a lot of recent stuff that's not super hype, you know, is getting discounted. So you're going to pick up 20-30 pounds off, like, on different things. So you know, cop some stuff. There's things out there, and you know, cop some stuff for your people, whatever. Cop some stuff to me if you want. You know, I'll let people know where the dungeon is.
And me.
That's it. So I mean, so speaking of buying trainers, so what do you guys? This is a question. What do you guys think makes a great pair of trainers? What are the things that go behind that makes a great pair of trainers?
I think one of the things you're always going to see with the stuff that does sell is the iconic silhouettes. You know, there are certain shoes that will always sell, no matter when they release, like a Reebok Classic, like an Air Jordan 1, like an Air Force 1. Like, they're always going to sell those shoes. And I mean, you can buy a fresh Air Force 1 right now, and it doesn't matter. Plain white, you know, it's still going to drop nicely with an outfit.
Yeah.
So then there are certain things. I'm typically a silhouette guy. So there's certain silhouettes I've always admired, and that's normally what I'll look to first.
Yeah. Cool. And yourself, Chris?
I just want to say, you know, it's what makes a great shoe is really what makes a great shoe to you. Like, so, you know, I don't have anything like whatever drives.
It's very subjective.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, like, you know, however you're getting your money, and like whatever you choose to spend it on, and whatever kind of drives you, that's your business. You know what I mean? You know, man's been in this thing a while, so you know, I'm driven by his, you know, historical shoes, like archive stuff, but I'm also driven by stuff that has a particular story for me. You know what I mean? Like that's connected to some, you know, things, and connected to culture, because I think that these shoes are, no matter how much that is, you know, can be diluted sometimes. I think, like, you know, all of these shoes have a story, either in its design, but a story either with, you know, usually with the people as well, which is cool as well. So, you know, you remember having a shoe, or you remember heads who had a shoe, and there's stories that are being created now around newer releases as well. You know what I mean? So, and I think those are interesting as well. But also, like, I don't knock anyone if, like, you're driven by the hype. You just got to get it. Like, people are telling you you should have it. Like, it's gonna get you those likes, whatever, man. Like, because I can't tell someone else how to spend their money. And I'm not gonna say I'm not driven by the hype, because that's how I know I still love this thing, because I still, you know what I mean? There's still some releases where man's like, yo, I gotta have that, man, and I can feel that, you know, whatever it is, the adrenaline and all that kind of stuff. And there's shoes that I miss out on that I'm you know, I'm upset about. And I'm like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Because you think about it. Or I think the worst one for me with it's quite a busy sort of life, and that is you know, the one where I'm like, I'm all in for a shoe that's going to be released online or an app, and then it's just as simple as that, I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, like, so I didn't, man, didn't even try. Man didn't remember on the Saturday morning, and I'm like, oh. And then you just have to be like, just forget about it quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Move on.
I heard that. So speaking of that, I mean, let's talk about the Ellesse Tanker shoe, you know, and when you guys, you know, I don't know if you guys remember it from the early days, but when you guys saw what I did with my design, what came to mind? How did you feel about that? I mean, we can get it out if you want, like, to show the people.
Flex.
Yeah, let's show the people. Sorry, I mean, this is one of the things anyway. Yeah. So
I think Chris's point that he made about shoes that have a story, like it touches on what I meant about iconic silhouettes. Iconic silhouettes have legacy. That's a reason for you to buy into it, especially as a new collector. You know, people who haven't been, like, obviously all of us have been into trainers for decades now, but there are people that have only been into kicks since Off-White. You know, last 2-3 years is when they fell in love with sneakers. So now they're able to look back at iconic shoes like the Tanker and say, hang on, there's a legacy here. Let me dig a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why I love the shoe that you produced is it had a personal story, but it was tied to the legacy of the shoe. And I was like, that's genius. You kind of connected both ends of the story of the shoe.
Yeah.
That was really clever.
And the brand, yeah. I mean, Ellesse, I think, you know, for me, it was very important to show that. I mean, it was very important for to, you know, without trying to go too much on about the shoe, because I know I haven't mentioned it before. It was for me to show the history that Ellesse played in tennis, and that was evident. You know that's what I wanted to really show. You know, and yourself, Chris.
When I first saw the shoe, you know, when I first saw you know what you did, I was just like, oh man, it just could have been so much better, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know,
that's cool. Just like, I accept that.
Yeah, I just, you know, like I was fuming, man. The disappointment. No. The shoe is dope. Like, I think it's amazing, but it is a shoe, and it is an iconic shoe, but the story and kind of what it means in terms of the relevance of you and your story and your connection with it is in many ways bigger than the shoe. You know what I mean? So that's what's amazing about it. And that's why I think I'm drawn sometimes to these stories with these collaborations. Some of them which are hype and some of them which are not, just because I'm feeling there's a connection with a story. And I think with, you know, Ellesse, like, you know, I remember Ellesse on the streets. I remember, you know, no one really knew how to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's actually LS. You like Ellesse? Yeah,
there was a whole tennis vibe, but it wasn't only that. Like, people knew about Ellesse from tennis, but then people know about Ellesse on the streets because straight up and down, Ellesse were making shoes that you could pass off as shoes at school. Get me? Like, so because he had black or brown shoes at school, man, they were wearing Ellesse. They were like, because there was a couple black and brown sort of mid type boot ones, and it was just like, what? Oh no, yeah, no, that's nothing, sir. That's nothing, sir. You get me? You're just trying to keep it moving. But again, I think, like, whilst it might have been a little bit sort of before, you know, my time or whatever, tennis was still strong, like when we were growing up. And tennis, you know, tennis, like the tennis sort of brands were sick, because like the whole thing that was going on the court with certain tennis personalities was the whole matching thing. Like, you know, you didn't know how everything worked, whether with fashion and design and stylists and all that, but you knew that like this guy had his own outfit, you know what I mean? Like, you know, his sponsorship deal meant he had a whole outfit with Adidas, with Ellesse, with Le Coq Sportif, with Nike, you know what I mean? So, and then it became a thing when you were like, Rob, some of these dudes are trying to like, even when they just come on court, they're trying to outshine the next guy. You get me? Like, and some of it was European, like subtle, like, you know, with still, you know, with that kind of classy edge. Some of it was loud, like Agassi and stuff like that. But you were like, raw. And so, you know, when I saw some of the outfits that some of the greats were like Becker, Ivan Lendl, you know what I mean, Stefan Edberg, McEnroe, all those guys, you were like, rah, like these man, you get me? And so that became like your connection with it. At the same time, on the ends, we were playing tennis.
Yeah.
You get me? There were local courts next to wherever the football pitch was.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to mention, that, you know, even in inner city, tennis is always is associated with kind of more of a upper class type of you know, community. But in the inner city places that we grew up, there were tennis courts next to the basketball courts and stuff.
Yeah, my school had a tennis court. We had a concrete tennis court.
Yeah, we had tennis courts.
Like one of the things that I was always drawn to when it came to certain sneakers, because I played sports in school. I liked how tennis and basketball mixed, like the brands that were dominant in those areas when I was growing up. They mixed fashion and performance very well.
Yeah.
And I liked a shoe that I could rock. Like, I only had one pair for the whole year when I was in school. So I had to get a shoe that I knew I could live with, I could play in, I could go to school in, and I could go out after school in. You needed a shoe that could do all of them. And I think the Tanker is one of those shoes that it's a tough shoe. It's made for performance, but it was clean enough and like stylish enough that you could wear it when you weren't in that kind of arena.
You know, the thing about, like, yes, it's connected to the story, the jacket, to Boris, everything, to your mum, but the whole kind of swag with you know, each shoe different was just like, that's some old school, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone, certain man could pull that off, and you know, and there's certain people, you know, who are doing that now. So I rate that. That's a part of the culture that's kept going, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Man, them who did one shoe, or, you know, one shoe one color, one shoe another were real bad man in the sneaker game. You get me? So that's why you got to rate that. And when you see the outfit that's gonna drop with these soon,
I can't wait.
I can't wait. You're gonna know about it.
So Franklin.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, why did you decide to do one shoe dark blue, one shoe sky blue? Why didn't why didn't you want to mix it?
When we were younger, I remember very well wearing another brand, and we would have one white, one black pair.
Another brand.
You know what I mean? You know, or
yeah, I did the same with Dunks.
Yeah, or what we used to do back in the day is we used to have one trainer and one shoe. You know, and it was just a mix match. We used to have one trainer and one shoe, and it kind of, I was thinking about the history of Ellesse as a brand, and then I was thinking, this is what we used to do when we were kids. We always used to have mix match. Everything was mix match. So I was like, no, I've got to kind of bring that in, and I was just happy they said yes, you know, because they could easily said, nah, that's not what we do. But, you know, I was just happy that they said yes. Okay, so speaking about the Ellesse Tanker, Ellesse are doing an amazing competition, really to kind of uplift people during this time, motivate people, and give the community something to look forward to after this, you know, this South Ash is over. It launched earlier this week, and it is a competition for someone to design their own pair of the Ellesse tanker, and it'll be made especially for them. What do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's
Yeah,
dope.
got big up for them. Yeah,
and that's
cool.
Nice. I think one of the great things that this isolation seems to be bringing out is certain brands are using it as an opportunity to inspire creativity. And I think this is just another example of a brand doing something positive to give people something to pass the time with, because some people are really bored. All of us. Facts. All of us do have jobs that we normally work from home. Some people have been laid off. Some people don't have something to do with their time. So this is a great idea.
No, facts. Chris, what do you think about the competition?
I think it's a great idea, because I think people are always, they always have like, oh, I wish that bit could, I wish the mudguard could have been this color or that color or whatever. And so it's like, it's a really dope way to kind of get people involved in things.
I ain't going to take up too much of your time any longer. I just want to kind of tell you what I'm going to be doing to uplift people and to kind of bring people together. Apart from this podcast with Ellesse, I have launched my own audio book and ebook called How to Get Free Stuff from Brands.
Yeah, I've been sharing it with people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, I want to also mention, it's not just about getting free stuff. It's really about helping people with their online platform. I think the title was just clickbait. So I'm putting out a lot of content now to kind of really help people get through this time. I've got this is an exclusive. I've got another book planned. So hopefully that should be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, so what are you guys going to be doing moving forward to kind of help uplift the communities?
Well, I'm taking part in a lot of conversations like this. So I've been doing other podcasts and online kind of forum Q&A type stuff with people all around gadgets,
you have your own podcast as well, right?
Home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've got the TRSF podcast, The Real Soul Family. Mm-hmm. We actually managed to record a few episodes before lockdown happened, so we've still got more episodes coming out. So if you guys check out our Instagram and the YouTube, check that out. We don't just talk about trainers, but we talk about the design world. We talk about the community, about culture. So yeah, definitely check that out. Cool. And then I'm actually looking at readdressing the way that I post on Instagram. I want to change my timeline up a little bit. So I've got some plans for that too.
And yourself, Chris?
Yeah, well, we how we do. We set up, the first of its kind of Sneakerhead Sound Clash.
Yeah.
And that's just through Instagram stories, so people can come in and it's old school, like yes, old school reggae style, but with new age tech and stuff like that. So people can come in on Friday, bring some tunes and like just bring some vibes. I'm really encouraging people to just like however you are in contact with people, messaging, phones, like these kind of video messaging facilities. Just keep people, keep checking in, like and sometimes like. With ideas, sometimes people have ideas, or sometimes they don't know they have an idea, So sometimes it's all about conversations, even with the people in your circle, to be like, yo, like, let's talk about something. Let's just have a conversation about things or things you want to do. Because I think this is a perfect time now for people to really understand, just like this whole situation has shown us, like how fragile life is. And I am myself, like, doing a lot of self-assessment to be like, yo, all these things that I've talked about doing in different projects, like now's the time to move, because you just really don't know what's going to happen. We would also invite anyone who's doing good work in the community, like to holler at us, whether that's delivering food, or checking in on people to see how we can help, how we can get involved. We got people everywhere, so we can mobilize people everywhere. And just really keeping the energy and the vibes going in what is a really, really difficult time right now. You know what I mean? Again, like if you need sneaker advice, I'm available for a very reasonable rate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, if you got £200, what you can cop online. So it's just vibes right now. It's just vibes. It's just vibes. But I think the people that are creative and stuff like that, just use this time to create, work out what you can create in the space that you have. You know, I started my own business, my own organization, and I told people that, like, when you're starting something, you have to think like, you know, I can operate the thing that I've dreamt of, like, in the space of a phone box. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I've got a phone and a laptop, like in that small kind of broom cupboard space, I can make it happen. So, you know, you can make it happen. We have the space, and we just gotta make the ideas come to life, really.
Cool. Yeah, and no, thank you. I'll end on that note. Speaking of ideas come to life, if you haven't, make sure you guys enter the Ellesse competition to design your own Ellesse tanker shoe, and you will get yourself one of these, specially made for you. I just want to thank my guests. I want to thank my friend. I want to thank my friend John. Do you want to shout out your IG where people can see you, sir?
Yeah, check out Gadgets JON or Sneakers JON, whichever you like.
Wherever you like. Cool. And Chris, can you shout out your social media?
Yo, catch me on killingasneakersoundboy.com. Nah.
Relax.
Catch me on, you know, thewordonthefeet.com, everything sneaker related at the Word on the Feet. You know, catch my personal page at Jean Gorgon if you wanna give me a holler over there. You know what I mean? And just now's the time too, people. Just, like, you know what I mean? Don't go on with all that stushness, man. Yo, follow people up, like, connect with people, see what's going on in their world. I would also like to just big up Ellesse as well, for, you know, their super dope campaign that they've got right now, which is to kind of show love to people who are doing amazing work in this time. That's circulating on their pages, and, like, we've nominated a few people who are doing amazing stuff. So if you know someone in your community who's just really going all out in this difficult time, like, nominate them. You know, and Ellesse are gonna you know, they're gonna hook them up with a nice little care package. So yeah, big up.
Nice one. Well, no, thank you so much for joining me, guys. This has been Franklin Boatin, aka the King of Trainers, and this has been Together with Ellesse. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for your time. Make sure you download the link for the design competition. Peace.